What's going on YouTube? So you know electrification is getting mainstream when it's made its way to even the off-road legend, the Wrangler. This is the brand new plug-in hybrid Wrangler called the 4xe, and it's adding silent efficiency and electric torque to all the famous off-road capabilities the Wrangler has always been known for. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out this Wrangler of the future. Now, of course, since this is a legendary vehicle, Jeep didn't mess with the look of the Wrangler for this 4xe model. Really, the main thing you'll notice as far as differences is just the fact that the 4xe is only available in upper end trim levels. So you start with the Sahara trim level. That's what we have on this specific model. So you're going to have all the niceties included as standard equipment. So up here in the front, we got that traditional 7-slat grille. You notice we have the trail camera, which I'll talk about later on the inside. And then down here, as far as your bumper, this is going to be finished differently depending on which trim level you have, but it will mimic what you get with the gas-powered model, for example, like with the Rubicon. And then over here at your headlights, we have the standard full LED headlight package. So of course, it is full LED, including the nice ring daytime running light going through there. We have the separated LED turn signal right there, as well as LED fog lights. Now, of course, being a Wrangler, it's going to be very important to talk about off-road ability. And Jeep is big on making sure you know you're not sacrificing any off-road ability when you choose the 4xe. So you have the same ground clearances up to 10.8 inches with the Rubicon. You have the same approach and departure angles as the gas-powered model. And importantly, you can actually afford the same 30 inches of water that you can with the regular model because Jeep seals off all the battery and electronic components completely, so they are waterproof. Now, taking a look next at our wheels, you'll notice on this model we have a 20-inch gloss black finished alloy. This is included on the Sahara as well as the top-end high altitude model. But if you choose the Rubicon model, it's going to come with a 17-inch contrast alloy and of course a more rugged tire. Now, there are some subtle differences over here. You'll notice your trail rated and your Jeep branding, they're going to have this small blue highlighting around them. And then right above that, this is where you'll find your charge port. So you just pop that open and you can charge the vehicle right there with your traditional 120 household outlet or a 240 if you prefer. And then finally, coming up to your mirrors, these are going to be heated and have blind spot monitoring.
Now, there's not going to be a lot different for the side and rear designs for this 4xe model, but I do want to talk about a few different things. So first of all, the 4xe is only available in the unlimited 4-door configuration, so they're all going to look like this, and you do have a standard soft top, or you can option on this hard top if you want that. Now, walking around to the rear, we have our fuel door here, because you do still need gas. It's not a full EV. And looking at the rear design itself, once again, really nothing different, although you will notice there's this 4xe badge. That's the most unique feature that you're going to get back here. I do like the blue color, and you're also going to have your signature Wrangler spare tire. The taillights themselves are going to be LED since this is a higher end model, and if we drop down, you're going to have your one exposed exhaust outlet here on the right side and a tow rating of 3,500 pounds. Now, one area I wish Jeep would improve on is making your safety systems standard equipment, but that's not to say you can't get them. If you get the advanced safety group, you're going to get 3 out of the 4 systems, so that's going to be adaptive cruise control, forward emergency braking and pedestrian detection, as well as auto high beam headlamps. So guys, as you can see, this is a really cool looking Wrangler on the outside, but now let's go ahead and hop on the inside before we take it out on a spin, which I know you're probably very interested in. And before we do all of that, it would really help us out if you hit that subscribe button down below.
So in this 4xe, we have a couple of optional systems. We have the optional smart entry, and we also have the optional remote start. However, of course, you can still use the traditional switchblade key if you prefer to do that. Now, to get inside the vehicle itself, just reach behind the handle and there is a sensor. Alright, and taking a look inside of the cabin, you'll notice a pretty nice looking cabin. That's because, like I already mentioned, the 4xe really only comes in well-equipped trim levels. So going through our different interior material and color options, with this Sahara model, you have standard leather that's going to come in your choice of black or saddle brown color options. As you can see, you do have the embroidering of the trim level as well. And then the same goes for the high altitude as well, but it does have some extra quilting and it comes in gray option instead of the brown. Rubicon being the rugged trim level, that's going to come standard with a cloth seat. Now turning over here to your door trim, you will notice you have a nice place for your arm to rest with leather and a color contrast stitching detail, and the rest of the door trim is going to be padded. You have your power adjusting mirrors right there, as well as your power locks, and you've got some storage here with your little net. And as far as the seats are concerned, these are going to be 6-way manual adjusting across the entire lineup. Like I was already mentioning, we do have the leather seats, color contrast stitching, as well as the embroidering of whatever trim level you have. Now to get inside, we do have some running boards, as well as an assist brake. So let's go ahead and take a look around at the cabin materials. They're very nice for a Wrangler. So we have a soft touch upper dashboard with a stitching detail. Below that we have some leatherette trim that runs all through the center areas, again with a nice stitching detail. You have a kind of a cool texture trim that goes around the display. And of course, in typical Wrangler fashion, everything in here is going to be very rugged, very durable, and solidly put together. Now standard across all of the 4xEs, put your foot on the brake and press the button to start it up. And that right there is what's going to be so strange about having the 4xe, because you don't hear any engine start up. You just have a slight whirring sound of the electric motors getting ready. Definitely very strange for a Wrangler. Now taking a look at the gauges themselves, you will of course notice some differences from the regular model. You have the special gauges over here. You also have a mixture of information inside of your large premium multifunction display. So basically you'll just notice your traditional stuff like off-road information through here, but you also have additional information for your electric stuff, including on the side there you have your electric range. So you can see we have 18 miles of electric range, 42 miles with fuel for a total of 60. Now coming back to the steering wheel, you have a really nice leather wrap steering wheel with the double color contrast stitching detail, as well as some silver accents through here. The wheel itself is going to be manual tilt and telescoping, and then we also have the optional heating, which comes via the cold weather group. Off to the side here, you also notice your 3 controls for your different drive modes, which can lock the vehicle into electric only or gas only. Alright, so now let's go ahead and talk about interior storage next. So we'll turn to our center console here. This is going to open up in 2 different tiers. So this is the top tier, just a small amount of space. It does have a nice rubber lining so you can keep a small valuable object to the top there. And then if you open it up right there, that's where you'll have your broader amount of space. This is a nice size center console. You do have, again, the removable camo pad there. You also have a USB port inside. And we'll grab out our thick stack of coupons here. A small fold to the side there. It looks like they're going to fit, no problem whatsoever. Now, we've also got our cup holders right here. And there's not generally any other space to stick things besides for this small shelf, which is going to be too small for a cell phone. Now, all through here, of course, you have different gear selectors and things like that. Obviously, this is going to be an automatic transmission with the electric model. So you're going to pull back for drive. You can bump over here to the left if you want to take manual control. At and you can hear the engine just fired up. And when we go into reverse, this is where you'll be greeted with your backup camera. This is a standard backup camera with active trajectory, really nice resolution as well, and we do have parking sensors. On this particular model, we have the optional trail camera, so you also have the front view that you can click on and check that out as well, so that's a pretty nice feature to see. And then back behind the shifter, we do have our leather covered emergency brake. We also have our traditional four-wheel drive controls, because this is, of course, like we've already talked about, every bit of a Wrangler as all the other models. And then since this is a Wrangler that you can pull the doors off, you do have a lot of controls up here, including your window switches. So these are going to be one-touch auto down for the driver and the passenger only. And then you also have your 12-volt outlet. And then off to the side here, we have our USB controls, our aux jack, and we have our 4 auxiliary controls. So this is where you can connect different accessories and you can control the power to them by turning these on and off. Now jumping above that, we have our dual zone automatic climate control set up as standard equipment with the 4xe. Obviously, simple to make adjustments with your little toggles for your temperature and your fan adjustments, as well as your zones over there on the side. You also notice this specific example has the 3-stage heated seats. Those are also part of that cold weather group, which is packaged with the heated steering wheel. And then mixed right in with that, we have our volume knob. So again, since these are all equipped with pretty high-end trim levels, you're going to have the standard 552 watt 9-speaker Alpine premium audio system. So we'll go ahead and give that a sample right now. So overall sound quality is very good. I'm quite impressed by how well it fills up the cabin, and really a lot of bass as well. Okay, so now let's take a look next at our standard display. This is the largest display option offered in the Wrangler. It's 8.4 inches. And this is going to be running the slightly older Uconnect system, so it doesn't have Uconnect 5, but it does have pretty much the same layout and the same features, minus just a couple things. So as far as what you've got on board, you've got these little shortcuts down here at the bottom. You can adjust your climate inside of this. You can also adjust your seats and things such like that. You also have your applications as well through there, including some of your off-road specific things. We'll point out you do have standard Android Auto and standard Apple CarPlay, of course. It does not run wirelessly, though. It does require a wired connection. Now, since we do have the up-level display, it comes standard with the navigation, so that's what that looks like right there. Jumping on up, we also have an optional auto-dimming mirror with the nice frameless design, and we have our universal remotes mounted up here on the visor. And then up here at the very top, of course, you don't have any moonroof options for the Wrangler, and that's because you can simply remove the roof. On this particular example, we have the optional hardtop.
Alrighty guys, so I'm in the Wrangler's rear seat, and obviously the top is on, but you could have the top off and out having fun, of course. This is a Wrangler after all. But let me go ahead and talk about the space. So as far as the legroom figures, you're going to be looking at 38 inches of rear legroom, 43 inches of rear headroom with the top on, like I said. So there's lots of space. Behind your seating position, I have, I would say probably 4 inches of rear legroom, and my feet can slide up underneath the seat. So it's pretty comfortable back here, but not overly spacious. Now, as far as the feature set you're going to get, here in the middle, we are going to have vents. That's a nice touch. We also have our window switches located here in the middle for if you remove the doors, of course, that does give you that functionality. And then dropping down, we have 4 connections. So we have 2 USB Type-Cs and 2 smart charging USBs. We also have a regular 115 volt household style outlet. And we also have some cool trim right here. Now, if we fold down the center armrest, we're also going to have cup holders inside, although it is worth noting stuff like heated rear seats are not going to be available, and we do have the speakers right here mounted for when the roof is off. Now walking up to the tailgate, as you would probably expect, it's not going to be like a traditional opening one. So it's the regular Wrangler style where you open up this bottom portion of the door. We do have a nice Jeep Easter egg here, and then we can open up the glass like that. Now, as far as the space is concerned though, there is a lot of space back here. We have 28 cubic feet of space behind the second row seats. That expands all the way up to 67 cubic feet if you fold them down. Now, if you're paying attention to those numbers, you'll notice that that's about a 5 cubic foot reduction over the regular Wrangler due to the battery being underneath of the rear seat. So that does impede just a little bit on the cargo space, but I don't really think most of you guys will notice that. And as far as how they finished it, we have a really nice carpeting on the floor. If we lift it up, we have places to put our nuts and bolts if we detach the roof. And we also have a little bit of storage down here, as well as our charging cable. Now, off to the left side, we have a 12-volt outlet. And that's going to be pretty much it for the trunk. Now over here at your passenger seat, it is going to be manually adjusting. And then if we open up the glove box, now this is one area I really wish they would improve on. I know they have to put the speaker grill right here, but this glove box is quite tiny and we have to fold our coupons in half, and even then it barely fits in there. So, you know, Jeep could maybe improve on that for the next generation Wrangler and make us a little bit more happy. But as far as up top, we have a sun visor with LED lighting as well as a mirror, and we can also detach and extend.
Alright, so we'll start off this test drive, and well, we're in the hybrid mode, but if you're going slow, then you're going to be in electric only. So as you can hear, here we go, cruising along in total silence.
It's so weird to have a Wrangler EV, but you know, it's very interesting.
Yeah, so you could actually be like off-roading in the woods, and all you would hear is the the crunch of rocks
Leaves.
and sticks and leaves and
Yeah.
things. So it's kind of a cool experience, especially if you didn't have the roof on or something like that. Alright, and there's 60.
Nice.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about this is it's actually very fast. This is a powerful Wrangler option because you have the combination of a normal or the optional 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. That's going to be the basis. Then on top of that is where you add your 17 kilowatt hour battery pack, 2 electric motors, and that's going to all add together to make a really nice 375 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque. So those are really good numbers.
Yeah. And that does make it the second most powerful Wrangler in the lineup until that 392 model comes out, which we're very excited to sample as well. But yeah, no, power. This is one of this vehicle's probably weakest points was the fact that most of them came with the 3.6 liter Pentastar. Especially if you get like to the $55,000 price range, you might want some more power, and this is going to offer that. So I'm very excited, and I like this powertrain.
New text message from Ginger.
Yeah, of course, when you, it really stays in electric mode actually quite a bit up to speed. It really has that nice instantaneous electric torque, and then when that engine kicks on, you can really feel, just a lot of power as they work together.
Yeah.
And a smooth transition as well.
Yeah.
Now, you'll probably also notice we have a 8-speed automatic transmission. So it does operate just like it does in the regular Wrangler. So you don't have any type of continuously variable transmission or anything like that. So obviously I'm sure Wrangler owners would be glad you don't have to deal with something like that.
New text message from Ginger.
Now, of course, you're also going to have full-time 4-wheel drive. That's going to be standard, as with you would expect out of a Wrangler. However, the Rubicon does have a different transfer case than what we have here.
It's very interesting to be in full EV mode and also feel the transmission shifting. You know, you don't
Super
usually
weird.
feel something like that.
Yeah.
So I should mention, over there on the side you have your buttons. Right now we're operating in hybrid mode. That's going to be the default, which is just going to switch between, of course, the battery and engine as needed. You can also lock it into having the engine on and save your battery for like when you're in an urban situation, for instance, and you can also keep the battery on until it's fully depleted.
Yeah.
And you could customize your amount of brake regen as well.
Yeah, and if you're curious as to how long it takes for the black battery to get depleted, it's rated at 25 miles of full electric range. And if you're on the gas engine just by itself, you can expect 20 miles per gallon. Alrighty, and it is slam dunk and airball time. So I'll start us out with the slam dunk and just say we really like this powertrain. It's becoming, this is our future, is electrifying stuff that, you know, typically it would not be electrified, and I really like the way this feels. I honestly don't think the average Wrangler buyer is going to, you know, notice or really care that much that this is partially EV, and you're going to get the benefits in terms of if you had a short drive to work, or, you know, in terms of fuel economy as you go living with the vehicle.
Right. And then as far as our airball side of things, it's going to be the pricing. So Mason can take us away on the pricing for this vehicle, but let's just say it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, so I'll start with how this one is equipped. I guess we're getting a little bit of off-roading in here.
Yeah.
The road is blocked by a tow truck. But for the price of this one, we're looking at a touch over $57,000 when we add in the $1,495 destination charge. Do keep in mind, though, you can get the $7,500 federal tax credit with the plug-in model, but still, even with that given, that is still pretty expensive, you know, for this model. The Sahara is going to start at $47,995, Rubicon $51,940, and the high altitude is $53,715, so you're looking at a lot of these are probably going to be over $60,000 on the sticker price.
Right. So impressed by the power. Yeah, I mean, it really pushes you back in the seat from the start. All right, let's slow down to 55 and get this sound level reading. Of course, as soon as you start, you know, slowing down, the engine kicks back off again, so we're just under electric power.
Okay, we went under 60, so 59.4. I think the last one we tested was like 63, so
yeah.
It is a little bit quieter. It's still not quiet by any means,
no,
but
this is not an aerodynamic shape, and
and
having
the roof,
removable
yeah.
panels, it's never going to be quiet like a luxury vehicle, but it is, you know, this is part of the Wrangler experience. But overall, I have to say I'm really quite impressed by this. I was maybe just a touch skeptical of how this would all work together, because Wrangler is not something you think of being electrified. But Jeep has really done a great job with this. They really made this a nice, cohesive, well thought out, well engineered system where, you know, you switch seamlessly between electric power, the engine power. It actually all works together to make it, you know, really powerful Wrangler. Like I said, well thought out, the way that they integrated it. And then you just have just the general advantages of being electrified, being able to operate quiet, and having 25 miles of range to not even use gas per day. So really, I think this is a strong offering in the Wrangler lineup that's definitely worth looking at.
Well, guys, we really appreciate you watching this in-depth review of the new 2021 Jeep Wrangler 4xe. If you made it this far, hopefully that means you enjoyed watching, or at least found this video helpful, so be sure to help us out by hitting that subscribe button down below. It provides us with more opportunities, which will in turn provide you with better content. So be sure to do that and tap that notification bell as well. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.